Divakar, do you think, now from the example that you just gave me, it almost looks like the Adanis are now solving for both priority and paranoia.
Yes,
Is that correct?
absolutely.
Can you help me understand this principle in the context of Adanis?
If you look at Adani Group companies, they end up paying anywhere between 9 to 12% or 13% taxes in a country which taxes at 25 or 35%. Now, of course, there are banners say he doesn't pay tax or what. Let's understand what is he actually solving for. He is solving for infrastructure, which is by far one of the biggest paranoias of a developing nation. He is solving for renewable energy. It's a commitment which this government has given, which this nation has given to the world, that we would effectively end up being carbon neutral in the coming decades. Someone has to solve for this, right? Let's go back, Ganayal, if I were to zoom out on this, on how governments view citizens, right? They view citizens, especially entrepreneurs. I have this framework called BETS.
Can you spell it out?
BETS. Builders, enablers, thrivers, and supported. So builders are those who actually contribute to the society. They build and solve for dreams and fears of the nation. In the case, if we were to take Adani's case, Adani is a builder. He builds port infrastructure. So he would be getting all the rewards possible because he is solving for a desperate need of a nation. It is not only India and Adani. Elon Musk, in 2024, Tesla made over $2 billion of profit. You know how much of taxes they paid?
How much?
Zero. Zero federal taxes. 2024, over $2 billion of profit. He didn't evade law. He solved for a problem which America so desperately needed. Oil, renewable energy, clean energy, whatever you call it. Now, that's the game. The game is not about fighting the system. So positioning yourself as a builder. The enablers are people who make builders succeed. So if I'm a labor contractor, I provide people to solve for it. There is a reward which is waiting for. I just need to claim that. But not as much as a builder because I don't take the risk, or I'm not a trailblazer like a builder. Then comes the third category, the thrivers. So these are people who are absolutely an integral part of the economy, but they don't create. They consume the infrastructure for which they end up paying tolls, which is why the thrivers are the most taxed lot. So many a times I keep getting this question, an employee ends up paying 50% tax in India, whereas a business pays only 25% tax. Absolutely.
Because the business is the builder and the employee is the enabler.
No, the business could be a builder or an enabler, but the employee is a thriver. For you to get a good job, you need to have the economic infrastructure in place, which someone has built it for you, right? We take it as a matter of right, but what does it take to build institutions and make them thriving and legit? It's huge human capital and energy which has gone behind it. And you are now feasting on that system which has been built for you to succeed. That's the price you pay. It's not unfairness. It's actually being fair because you have not built the system, you're feeding on the system.
And who would be supporters?
Supported are the segments of the population which actually require that little bit of ladder to succeed in life. We've got the backward segments of society who require enablement to succeed.
Divakar, I'm able to imagine this in the context of semiconductors, Adani ports, solar industry, and so on and so forth. But these are industries which are reserved only for the selected few because they require a lot of upfront capital.
Yes.
My question to you is, if I'm a D2C founder who wants to take benefit of the government policies, how do I fit myself into this framework? And how do I look for the policies that can give me maximum benefit?
If you're an entrepreneur, you've got only two variables in front of you. You need to make one variable fixed. What I want to do and where I want to do.
What I want to do and where I want to do.
Yes, because in a world of unlimited mobility as far as capital, markets and talent is concerned, the whole world is your level playing field. You could choose, literally spin the world map and do wherever you want to do. And everywhere now, if you're an entrepreneur, you're given a red carpet visa, whichever part of the world. So let's coming back to the framework, right? What you want to do and where you want to do. You keep one thing fixed. What you want to do is fixed, choose the market which rewards that. You don't need to go too far. Your GPT will give you an indicative answer, then dig deep. But if where you want to do is fixed, that's where what you just asked comes into picture. get to the economic policy. In income tax, there are provisions where Indian government has given, if I'm not wrong, it's section 3580, where they've given a list of incentives for specific industries which could directly come within your ambit of D2C. And if I'm making honey, classic beekeeping is one of the incentives industries. Position yourself as a D2C, enabling that particular segment which the government wants. Because the government has already done its scoping. When you do that, you don't need to think too hard. They have done the product market fit. They know there is a demand. They know there is great supply which is already available. All you need to do is identify and ask.
People, now that you've understood the 3P framework, your obvious question would be, Ganesh, how do I find these goldmine opportunities? Well, you can find these opportunities in 3 types of documents: the budget document, the manifesto, and the consultation paper or the policy paper. For example, if you look at the BJP manifesto, it clearly tells you that the government intends to install 10 million solar panels through the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. So obviously, if you're a solar panel manufacturer, you will benefit. If you're a Vari Energy franchisee, you will benefit. In fact, even if you are a solar servicing company like Solar Square, you will benefit. Similarly, if you look at the budget of 2022, the government wants to prohibit the wastage of energy while distributing electricity. So they went very bullish on smart meters with the aim to install 250 million smart meters all across the country. Do you realize 250 million smart meters is a huge addressable market? And my friend Ayush built a company called Kimball Technologies, which today generates 1,200 crores in revenue. So prohibition could be both about protection and the destruction of an industry that could help you spot an opportunity. So you can optimize and find these business opportunities on the basis of what the government intends to prohibit or protect. And lastly, the government is paranoid about the healthcare system of India. So they are introducing something called the Unified Health Interface. And you can find out everything about UHI through the consultation paper that I've attached in the description. This paper will teach you where to build health tech apps for India, just like Paytm used UPI to become a $1 billion company. I will attach one video and a document each for all 3 points so that you can understand the gravity of what Divakar just taught us in the podcast. And now, back to the episode.
But the question is, Ganesh, today we all look at taxes as a means of collection, right? Let's just go zoom out here. Let's look at the evolution of taxes, right? In ancient days, taxes were typically when people moved from one place to another for trade. There was a lot of dacoity. Safety was a challenge. So kingdoms or tribes had their own security systems. They charged a fee for protection as far as movement was concerned. So tax originally started for protection. Then in the Industrial Revolution era, America is a classic example. They had a huge supply chain set up. They had market which was consuming. So you wouldn't mind paying taxes because it was giving you so there's a price for access. Today, tax is enabling progress. That's where the framework of alignment is more pervasive today than it ever was.
If this clip gave you value, please subscribe to this channel so that we can keep bringing you game-changing business insights.